Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another battle report, Warhammer, 1250 points. And this is Tomb Kings versus High Elves for part 2 of 3. If you watched the first video, I took care of Ryan pretty quickly as his die rolls were absolutely terrible and everything went wrong. So this is when everything goes right. So we'll do this battle report quick and then we'll do the third one and you let me know what you guys think. So in this game, I ended up getting the same spells as last time, Desert Wind and Cursed Blades. And because the massive amount of leadership tests failed last game, Ryan dropped one bolt thrower and a unit of fast cav for a BSB. He was also able to add in a second unit of archers. So my list is as the same before. You can also tell I've got some funky pieces of terrain down here. The beer bottles are actually going to be terrain, and there is a hill off to the side, and then the box of Aleve ends up being a house. So here's deployment before I go ahead and do my scouts. My scouts are over to the left. So I've got the Khemri War Sphinx, the 28 Tomb Guard, and then Archers unit. Tomb Prince is in the Guard. Caster is in the Archers. So you can see I only had 3 drops, which is kind of a flaw in this list here. So I had to put everything down nice and centered. This way, Ryan can teeter off to either side. You can see he's on the left side. So I try to be sneaky or clever, or so I think, with my fast cav because I want to use them to screen my infantry and the Khemrian for some cover, and I figured, well, I'll get the first turn because I've got the +1 to go first since I've got 3 units. And, I put my guys 12 inches away from his, this way he can't move them, and then when it comes time to move them around in Vanguard, I could do that since they have both Scout and Vanguard. So wishful thinking on my behalf and poor planning, I ended up not getting the first turn, which I didn't really consider, and that probably led to my major victory in the last game because being able to get that first round of shooting and movement for Tomb Kings is essential. So he actually ends up scoring a charge here on me, and now my guys have to stand and hold because I cannot flee and I cannot stand and shoot. And then with magic and shooting with the Lore Master and then the bolt throwers and the archers, I end up losing the other 2 units and the 1 unit in combat. So he clears off about 200 points worth of infantry, of cavalry in the first turn, which is huge. So everything's starting to go right here for Ryan. He gets good wins of magic, gets good rolls to hit. He hits with everything, which is funny because he's on the opposite side of the bell curve where last time around he missed everything and did not wound anything. So I go ahead and move up the little amount that I can. He had reformed after killing the guys and kind of made this little awkward this little awkward turn. This way, if I charge, I'd false charge, and then he's just going to get in the way and try to block me with those guys. So I do get Desert Wind off, I go ahead and move. Now the problem is poor planning again. My Khemrian War Sphinx was outside of the 12-inch bubble for Desert Wind, so I was not able to move him another 6 inches, which also prevented me from getting a wound back onto him, which is a pretty major thing. So he's got a wound on him from one of the bolt throwers, so that's pretty hurtful. That's not good. So I really needed to get that wound back, but I failed to do so. In shooting, I'm able to kill one of the 4 cavalry. So he ends up throwing them off to the side in his turn outside of the line of arc of the Khemrian War Sphinx. He does manage to do 3 more wounds to the War Sphinx and get miasma onto it, so it's barely moving, which kind of really disables me from doing anything effective. So I do another round of movement, and then in Ryan's turn, he's actually able to take out the War Sphinx, which is huge. So Brian got the opposite end of the bell curve, which he was hoping for. Nice, good rolls and probability and randomness was all in his favor. So this is actually the last shot here because we decide, hell, this only took us like a half an hour to do. We scrapped it. We decided let's make this a best of 3. So his list was altered a little bit, and I'm going to use the same list for all 3 games. One thing that we're looking to do, though, is kind of just keep these armies, keep this points level, and just kind of evolve. So this will be an evolving series of battle reports where we kind of build and alter our lists to counter what the other one's doing, which is fine because this is what I miss from when I first started playing Warhammer, when I only had 1 or 2 opponents and we would just play the same armies over and over and evolve and counter each other. And we're also going to be playing closed lists going forward in after game 3, so we want to be a little bit more sneaky. It'll be more fun, a little bit more interesting. Another important thing is or two more things to kind of give Tomb Kings the edge that they need. I think we're going to use ETC. Rise can allow me to use 1,400 points instead of 1,250, so I get that, I think, 12% increase. And along with, I'm going to use the Legions rule for a couple games to see how that goes. The Legions of Undead from the Nagash End Times books allows me essentially to march within, I guess, a bubble of my general, kind of like the Undead and Vampire Cast do. I think that's correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm going to keep playing Tomb Kings for the most part. Do mainly Tomb King Undead Legion, but allow me to march, which is a huge edge that these guys don't have. So I tried to keep this video real quick and short because there was not too much going on in it, and I hope you enjoy, and let's see what happens in Game 3. Check that out.